Yo, what's going on everybody? So Boruto episode 128 is done and in the books, and we are officially starting the arc that series creator Masashi Kishimoto directly went to the anime studio in Kodachi and begged for them to do, which is Boruto going back into the past and interacting with Naruto and everyone from Naruto's generation. And I gotta say, the fact that we're getting this type of an arc and it's leading up to it in the way that it did, I'm really looking forward to what we're about to get. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about episode 128 and Urashiki invading Konoha. So I like how the episode starts off where you have Mirai Sarutobi and presumably all the other members of either her team or the other members of the team that makes up the Hokage protection unit. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Mirai Sarutobi is actually one of Naruto's Hokage guards. That's why in the episode, when you find out that Naruto sees that Mirai's gone missing, that he immediately decides that he wants to go looking for her because of that close-knit relationship. So I did like the callback to that there. Now, the other thing that I found very interesting is the fact that Urashiki, upon draining Mirai's chakra after their very brief skirmish, right? After a very brief skirmish, he feels her chakra and immediately recognizes that she's a genjutsu type, and he immediately devises a very clever way in order to deal with the issue with Naruto. So you have a good majority of the episode dealing with the fact that Urashiki is surveying everything going on in Konoha. Like, Shikamaru has taken things all the way up to level 10. Like, he went from 0 to 10 really quickly. And so what essentially happens as a countermeasure for Urashiki is Shikamaru has taken Konoha back to the time when the third Hokage was alive during the second and third Great Ninja War, when the third Hokage was Hokage overseeing all that. So during that time, village security was a lot tighter. And so you see in here, during these times of peace, you see how all these different Chunin, these Jonin, are patrolling. They're patrolling Konoha. Essentially, Konoha has been shut down for the most part. Like, the villagers can still go out, but you don't see the villagers 100% out. Like, you see them in spades. You see people inside of their homes. And so this lets you know that, like, Shikamaru is taking this threat very seriously. And so what I really liked about that is, as a viewer, very early on the episode, you get a huge sense that, okay, this is going to be one of those more serious episodes. And so I like how the tonal shift just completely ramped up in this episode. I also like the fact that when you find out that the Ganin are going out on a mission, that Boruto is getting pissed off. And I like how Naruto tries to save face in front of his son, because Naruto's so full of shit here. Naruto says, well, when I was your age, even I showed a little bit more maturity. And this is like anybody that has read Naruto, anyone that's seen the two Naruto animes knows that 12-year-old Naruto is just like 12-year-old Boruto in this regard. He doesn't like being on the sidelines. And what I really like about this is how you see Naruto's pulling rank more than once. And I like that. I really like that. I like this version of Naruto. I've said before, I like Hokage version of Naruto simply for the fact that everything's come full circle. Like, he's mature, he's making the cold and calculated decisions. And even when Sasuke decides to step in and speak on Boruto's behalf, Naruto immediately shuts that down, says, Sasuke, this isn't your place to interject. He meant that both as being Boruto's father, as well as the fact that Naruto's Hokage, at the end of the day, he makes the final decision. Like, that title, Sasuke being the Shadow Hokage, that's just in title only. That's in title only. At the end of the day, Naruto's Hokage. Everything stops with his character. So I like the fact that he put his foot down. Now, Sasuke did make a very good plea, saying, like, look, I know you're worried about Urashiki hunting down Boruto simply for the fact they had the skirmish. I totally get all that. What if we just restrict our movements into the village? We don't leave the village. Me and Boruto will stay here. We'll form a two-man team. Naruto signs off on that, but I like the other part of that strategic part. Now, Naruto wants to keep his son safe. Like, Naruto's about to go as far as to pull a Danzo move, which is essentially have Boruto restricted to the Hidden Leaf Village under tight security where nobody can get any access to him. Like that was some extreme stuff. I get why he was going there, because they don't know all of Urashiki's intentions. So I like the idea that Sasuke's there. I also like the idea that Shikamaru and Naruto tell Sasuke, like, look, you might not have all your chakra back, but we need you here just in case Urashiki decides to attack the village. And that's something that cannot be understated, because with less than 50% of their chakra, Naruto and Sasuke manhandled Momoshiki. It's one of those things where when you look at that, less than 50% chakra Sasuke is still gonna be a huge asset, especially fighting alongside Hokage Naruto, who has his full power. Now, if they fight inside the village, obviously Naruto wouldn't be able to go 100% power, but still, having somebody like Sasuke there is a huge plus. So I totally understand where Shikamaru and Naruto was going from that perspective. Now, when it comes to Denki and being able to monitor all the different Genin when they're going out on the missions, I did like the little bit of character development you got there, where the different members of Boruto's generation saying, like, you're always in the spotlight, Boruto, because Boruto's Team 7, they have a huge track record when it comes to being Genin. They're overachievers. So for Boruto's generation, they saw the opportunity to get some recognition of their own. Moving on to the next part here, I did like the idea that Urashiki comes up with a very smart strategy. It's twofold. Everyone thinks that he's going directly after Naruto to get the Biju chakra that's inside of him. And for a long part of the episodes, you thought the same thing as well. And so I like the fact that Urashiki put together a three-step plan. It's a three-step plan. It's actually pretty genius when you think about it. So the first thing is he recognizes that Mirai has Genjutsu chakra. And so he places Mirai under Genjutsu and makes everyone think that she is another shinobi who's running after Urashiki. And so because of that wireless technology, everyone is in contact and they're all coordinating their attacks to where they can trap Urashiki, or who they perceive to be Urashiki, in the ravine away from the village. And so Sasuke, as everyone's running out the village, Sasuke recognizes that, okay, wait a second. Step one was, we think that he's coming after Naruto directly. Step two, all the shinobi are leaving the village. And Sasuke looks at all that and he's like, okay, hold on, wait a second. This ain't right. And he proceeds to take Boruto. They're gonna run back to the Hokage office, because he's thinking, look, like, if I was gonna be invading, I'd be going straight to the Hokage office. I want all that smoke. And so I like the fact that as they're running away, we cut back over and we see Tenten leading a group. And just as a small reminder, I like the fact that after so many episodes, we're actually seeing the 8th Hokage lead a team. That's so awesome that we're seeing Lady Tenten, the future 8th Hokage. I like the fact that we're actually seeing Tenten. I like the fact that we're seeing Tenten and she is coordinating the attacks. I thought that we were really gonna see Lord 8th Hokage fighting against Urashiki. Oh man, that would've been so awesome, man. That'd been so awesome to see the overwhelming power of the 8th Hokage. So moving on from that, like, Tenten being the observant one that she is, shows why she's Hokage material, and she releases Mirai Sarutobi from the Genjutsu. And so as Boruto and Sasuke are running back to the Hokage office, Boruto stops and he says, wait a second. And this is where step 3 of Urashiki's invasion takes place. Boruto's like, wait a second, I don't think he's going to Hokage office. And he says, what about that artifact that we found? I remember seeing those patterns when we fought against that white Zetsu. And Sasuke immediately is like, okay, that might be Otsutsuki related. Let's run away. And I like how the news report is playing in the background and it says it's a sealing device. So for a second, I thought, okay, is this how they're gonna tie in what's going on with the manga currently? Because there's another Otsutsuki that's been revealed in the manga. So I thought maybe this is them setting that up. I know that in the timeline where we are, we're a little over a year away from those events in the Boruto timeline. So I said, maybe they're trying to tie that in. And so I like the fact that when they finally get to that research institute, right? When they finally get there, which ironically Sasuke and Sakura in the Sasuke Retsuden novel are the research institute / prison. So I like the fact that they go to that research institute and you see all these bodies all over the place. So we were led to believe, just based on some misdirection, we were led to believe that Urashiki was going to Hokage office. And instead, you see a regular Chunin that reports to Naruto going to the office. And Shikamaru Naruto's like, he wouldn't dare try and come here because he knows you're well protected. And so when Sasuke and Boruto run up on Urashiki, Urashiki has already activated that device that belongs to the Otsutsuki clan, and it looks like some type of summoning creature. When you look at that creature, it says like, okay, none of my steps can be interrupted, everything needs to be done in the precise order. And Sasuke and Boruto, they're about to lay hands on Urashiki, and Urashiki shows you right away the difference. Like I told you guys when Shinki and Boruto were fighting against Urashiki, I was like, look, this dude's clearly suppressed, he's playing around with them, and once Boruto landed a hit, didn't do any major damage to the dude, he basically said like, ouch, and then he's like, okay, I'm about to whoop your ass now. And so I like the fact that here, Urashiki, when he's fighting against Sasuke and he's knocking Sasuke back, he's clearly using more force, but when it comes to Boruto, he's smacking him away like he's a little fly. So I like that right there. You can see the shift in intensity when he's interacting with these two characters. And so when they get pulled into that portal and they get pulled into what's essentially, I guess you could call this like a time dimension, I like the fact that as they're there, Sasuke's telling Boruto like, look, this is some type of jutsu, wait out a second, we need to gather information, figure out what's going on. And so they see Urashiki there, and Urashiki is basically telling him like, look, the preparation is already complete, there's nothing you can do now. And Boruto, because Boruto gets in the way while Sasuke and Urashiki are fighting, and Urashiki earlier had told Sasuke, look, you're strong, but I can tell you're not at full power right now. And so Boruto, when he gets in the way, forces Sasuke to use up a considerable amount of his chakra in order to use that Rinnegan ability to swap places, because Boruto is about to fall into that space-time continuum thingy. And so what ends up happening is Sasuke switches places between Boruto and Urashiki, so Urashiki is the one who falls out, and Urashiki remarks and he says like, okay, they've jumped out of the portal a little too soon. And so what effectively ends up happening is Sasuke and Boruto, they end up in another part of the world, okay, at least in their perception. All they see is the leaf greenery and everything, and so they're walking around, and Boruto's like, oh, this is just a hidden leaf village. And the first clue that we get as viewers is we see the Hokage monument, but half of the Hokage monument's not shown. We just see the first Hokage and the second Hokage's faces. But the other thing that should have stood out is if you look at the very top of the Hokage monument, I think everybody would have been paying attention to the faces, but if you look on top of the Hokage monument, you didn't see any of the skyscrapers, you didn't see any of the apartments, you didn't see any of the businesses that were there. That's the part of the village that Boruto and his generation are always frequenting. So the fact that you didn't see that, that was your first clue that, okay, something's off. And even Sasuke notices. Before they even see the full faces of the Hokage, Sasuke's looking and he immediately just starts jumping over the buildings. And I like how there was this very small Easter egg. You had to really be paying attention to catch this. So you see Sasuke on top of the water tank, okay? That's where Sasuke and Naruto fought in part 1 when Sasuke, after Tsunade healed him, Sasuke, after a day or so, ends up fighting against Naruto. I'm not counting the anime filler, I'm gonna explain to you guys why, but he ends up fighting Naruto. They have that Chidori versus Rasengan clash that almost happens. Kakashi ends up saving Sakura's life, throwing both of them out of the way before they kill Sakura. And so when they're looking at the Hokage monuments, they realize that, okay, this isn't right, Boruto. And Sasuke tells them, like, we're in Hidden Leaf Village from the past. And based on the faces, okay, before you get to the next episode preview, based on the faces, it becomes clear, okay, Tsunade hasn't become Hokage yet. And when you get to the next episode preview, right, I like the fact that you see Tsunade there. So what that tells you is that this is going to be taking place in the events right before the Sasuke retrieval arc. And so I'm going to be very curious to see whether or not they even canonize the Land of Tea events, because for those of you who are unaware, in the manga, when Tsunade returns to Hidden Leaf Village and she heals Sasuke, like literally you see Naruto after the fact getting ramen, and then the next day he goes to the hospital and he and Sasuke fight. There was no land a T mission. There was no drag out type of situation. Like literally Sasuke spent the whole night thinking about everything that happened with him and Naruto, and the fact that Naruto has gotten so much powerful, and he decides he's getting ready to whip Naruto's ass on top of the hospital. So I'm gonna be very curious to see whether or not they even refer to anything in the land of T, because it really seems as if this is gonna be taking place probably sometime after the fact. So what I find interesting about this, what I find interesting is whether or not they retcon the land of T or they change things around a little bit. So I like the idea that they are in the past and that inevitably you're gonna see Naruto and Boruto interact. So my episode question to you guys is, what were your thoughts not only about Urashiki's invasion, okay, and the fact that this dude pulled out some very methodical stuff and just trolled everybody, but what are your expectations for this arc where you have Boruto interacting in the past? I personally can't wait to see Boruto learn about Sasuke when he goes to join the Orochimaru and Sasuke being a rogue ninja. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see, but what is it that you guys want to see the most? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.